Hi guys, how's it going? We're back, finally. It's been a while since I recorded the last clip. It was May of 2020, the last clip, and it's now July of 2021, so we've gone a little bit of a distance since the last clip. To be fair, this video is going to be a continuation of what happened last time, so we're just going to carry on with putting the engine in the car. Obviously at this point, a lot of time's passed and the car has been on the road and it works great. As you saw at the end of the last video, there was a quick sneak peek of the car on the road, which is great. Now we're just going to continue doing what we were doing before. What we're going to start with though is we're going to start by putting the seats in. I had some aftermarket seats to go in the Spitfire. They're a BB1 Club Sports, a classic seat, I can't remember. They look great in the car, they really do. But I'm just going to say it now, that if you have a Spitfire and you're thinking about putting them seats in your car, don't. They sit way too high. I'm not very tall, I'm what, 5'6", 5'7", and my head is almost on the roof. Any of my friends who are taller than me get in the car, they can't see where they're going because some visors in the way. Taking the roof off for some of my taller friends is probably a better solution because they can just stick their head over the windscreen. So BB1 Club Sports, not a great match for a Spitfire, but they do look fantastic. So yeah, in this video, we don't pick up the camera quite a few times, and what is going to happen is we're going to put the seats in the car, and then magically it's going to have an exhaust, and then I think we skip a lot, and then it's on the road. So I'll fill in where I can, and I will show you the car as it sits. This video will be coming from then all the way to up to date by the end of the video. So that's what we're going to do here. Right, it's now another day. Can't remember what I showed you yesterday, but the hardtop is now in the car. What we're doing today is we are now fitting the other seats that I've got there, BB1 Classic seats, I believe that's what they're called. You can see one of them there on its side, just chilling. What I'm doing is I'm marking up the holes to drill. I've been at this a little while already, so you've missed a little bit, but I'll basically show you what I've been doing. I've put the seat in, and the brackets actually line up dead with one of the standard holes, which is this one here. So what I'll do is I bolt the bracket in and put it into position, and what I've done is this seat has the rails on it, so I put the seat back in and I bolt that seat in back here, position it how I want it, and then I mark it here. You can see there's a little mark there which I have to drill a hole. I drill this hole and then I put the other bracket in here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the distance between each side on the seat, and then I'll slide this back, and then I'll do the exact same distance between this rail and this rail, so that I know that they're perfectly straight, and then I can bolt the whole lot in. So that's what I've done on this side. This side is already drilled and the seat can go in, but I'm waiting for sealer to dry on that side, because obviously I don't want the original holes to be allowing water to get into the car. So I've sealed those up, and I will be doing the same on this side as well once I've done. I've also drying the carpets out because it's got a little bit wet and there's a little bit of mold in the underneath layers of the carpet, so they're going to be coming out and staying out. We're not going to be using those, we're just going to be putting the carpet in. So yeah, I'm going to get on with it, and I'll show you when I've got to the next step. You can see just there the hole is drilled. This is the original one, which will be getting blanked off. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the other rail and I'm going to bolt it in just like I have this one on this side. Alright, so now both my rails are in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from this side of the seat to this side of the seat. I'm going from the bolt hole on both sides, the centre of the bolt hole. I've measured this to be, I think it was 35.5. I will recheck it, I think it was 35.5. And what we're going to do then is we'll measure from this side to this side, and then we'll adjust the distancing to make it match exactly what's on the seat. Alright, so what we've done now is we've made sure this rail here is straight, and then what we've done is we've measured from this side to this side 35.5 centimeters, and we've got this now in line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark this hole here right at the front on both sides with a bit of permanent marker. Then we can remove these and then we can drill our holes. That's what I'm going to do now. So both our holes have been drilled. Now we need to remove these brackets and test fit the actual seat. All right, there you go. That'll do for test fitting. What I've literally done is I've put the seat in and I've just pushed the bolts through the holes in the floor just to make sure that they all go and line up all correctly. You can't see the other one. And the other one's around the back here, which you will be able to see. So they're all in the holes. So if I wanted to, I could bolt that down right now, but obviously I've got to put the carpet in. I've got to seal up the floor. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take the seat out. I'm going to seal the floor up. And while that's drying, we can put the other side back together. Right, so it was at this point that Past Tom decided that he wasn't going to pick up the camera and he was just going to fit the seats and put all the carpet in. Now we have an exhaust system. It's a Phoenix stainless exhaust system, single large bore performance system, single exit, just like it was before. So yeah, seats are in, exhaust is on. Let's continue from there. Right, so it's been a couple of weeks, and I can't really remember where we were when I done the last clip, so I'm just going to go through some of the things that have changed. First of all, the carburetors are off again. Yes, the banjo bolt on the end was leaking. I went to undo it and it snapped off. So that is being sent away for repairs. We now have a tubular manifold, full system, full stainless system from Phoenix Exhausts, which sounds amazing. I'll put some clips in here. One of the things I've been doing today is Triumph Spitfire 1500 alternator bracket will not work with the GT6 thermostat housing. You have to cut the little loop off the top, which is the bit I use to hoist the engine in and out of the car, which so maybe a little bit interesting to hoist the car up. Maybe hoist the engine out of, if I need to again. I will need to, it will break. I'll do a gearbox or something, and the engine will have to come out at some point. So that'll be interesting. I was thinking maybe we can hook it around the bracket on the bottom here of the alternator. Yeah, only that it's going to make fitment a lot easier. I won't have to worry about this pipe and then blocking this off. I've got an uprated cap on the way, which I was going to use to hopefully make sure that this doesn't drip out at any sort of temperature. I'm hoping not to get it too hot. Not only that, this new thermostat here, the thermostat housing has obviously a breather or for an expansion tank, so this will not pressurize the system anymore. It will just go into a bottle, it will fill up as it gets hotter, and then as it gets cooler it will suck it back in, and then there'll be no coolant loss, there'll be no pressure in the system, so hopefully nothing will blow off, which would be awesome. I'll just head round to the garage now. I've been modifying and painting the front bumper for this car so that we can fit the bonnet to it. As you can see, if I come around here, we've drilled holes. It's not very pretty, but we've drilled holes. We're going to have hood pins in the front here going onto the front bumper, which is going to be how we're going to mount the bumper onto this car, the bonnet onto this car. Obviously not running any hinges is going to be a little bit of a pain in the arse if I break down on my own, but if I'm with my friends or anybody for that matter, lifting the bonnet off is going to make working and servicing on the car so much easier. Right, so here's the front bumper. It's currently upside down because I've painted the inside of it. It's not dry yet, so I can't move it and show you properly, but as you can see, very different to what the bumper would normally look like. We've got these plates welded in here, and there's a little hole there for the hood pin. So this is what we've fabricated to allow for us to mount the bonnet onto the front bumper, which I think is going to be plenty secure enough. You've got the two bolts in the front, which are going to do it just fine. My bumper is not bolted in on either end, unfortunately. It will have to be zip tied down just to stop it from rattling against the fiberglass quarters, which it did used to do quite a lot with the 1500. It's a brilliant engine, lasted me 5 years. It was just me being a bit of a nonce that blew it up in the end. Unfortunately, I wasn't running a oil cooler, which if you have a 1500 and you plan on going flat out quite a lot, definitely fit one. Otherwise, your oil will boil because the lubrication in the bottom end isn't very good, and you will do a bottom end bearing. They're just common to do that, unfortunately, and that's exactly what happened to mine. All right, so for a little while, I'm going to walk around looking like a little bit of an idiot with these glasses on my head, and I'm going to finish off the front bumper. I'm going to primer it, and well, first of all, I'm going to primer it, then I'm going to sand it back to get all the imperfections out of it. Primer it again, possibly, if I go through in any places, and then I'm going to paint it. We're going to go a satin black on this. I did put a poll up on Instagram, and everybody voted matte, so you're getting satin. Sorry, guys. All right, then, so I'm going to carry on with this bumper now, and I'll see you when I make another clip. I'm not very good at this, apparently. It's been weeks, it's been over a month since I've done another clip. I've not got much done to the car, to be honest. It's mainly just waiting for parts. over isolation. It's a little bit slow. We're still waiting on an overdrive relay so that I can wire in the overdrive unit, which I would kind of like to have, but if it doesn't turn up by the time the car is finished, I will just not be fitting it and it'll be a full speed, unfortunately. I'm going to stop rabbiting. Let's get moving on with this bumper. And once again, it was at this point I did not pick up the camera. I threw the car together. The hood is now on, the bumper is now on. We're still running that Sealy radiator setup. Don't know what possessed me to use that. There is nothing right about that radiator setup. I have no idea why it even crossed my mind that that would be a good solution. You will see by the end of this video the route that we ended up going, and it was a factory route and it's proven it works. Why change it? So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now there's going to be a clip of me pulling off the driveway using the old radiator setup. I took it for its first test drive around the block. It was a lot of fun, I must admit. I got it off of my road test and it immediately popped I think I put a bolt on the end of one of the pipes to stop it leaking or something. It was such a stupid idea. It popped off, coolant went everywhere, didn't record that. But yeah, you'll see the car driving off the drive. And just like that, we didn't record for a good while again. So at this point, now the radiator setup has been fixed. We put a GT6 radiator on it. You will see it in some clips, but I didn't do any recording of the fitting of it. GT6 radiator went in, it was road tested. Well, it wasn't road tested, it was ran on my driveway, stayed at a good temperature for about an hour, and we thought, fuck it, let's just drive all the way to Kings Lynn from Colchester. What's the worst that could happen? And in fact, the car was completely reliable in the sense that the engine didn't stop working, or the gearbox, until at the end, you'll see the next clip, something did break. We did end up pulled over the side of the road with electrical issues, but that was down to the fact the car hadn't been on the road for a long time and corrosion is a thing. So yeah, enjoy the next clip. This is what happened to my shifter halfway through. I think it's a plastic clip inside the shifter mechanism that breaks and it drops the shifter down, which makes it incredibly hard to get into gears. Have a look at this. Alright, so I've done it again. Isolation is pretty much over at this point. I've been back at work for a little while. It's now July. The vehicle is pretty much finished. Let me show you what has been completed to it and how far we've got along. Alright, so when you last saw it, I'm pretty sure we had the other radiator. This sensor was located along here somewhere a little bit lower down, and we were running no expansion bottle. We didn't have a stainless steel exhaust, so yeah, that's pretty much what's changed. The vehicle is now road usable. I've had it on the road a little while now, actually about a week now. Sound from the engine is really what matters to me. It's a driver's car. Eventually, at some point, we are going to be putting a slightly bigger engine in it. Maybe we will try and get hold of a GT6 engine or a 2.5. We shall see. I have no idea if they fit, so that'll be another thing that we'll have to figure out when we do that. But at this point, I'm happy with where it is at this point, and I'm in love with it once again. So yeah, as you can see, one of the things that we've done last time is, I believe, I may have mentioned this in the last clip, but this pipe down the back was kinked and it had a crack in it and it was leaking. Unfortunately, we had already put together the stainless steel exhaust, we put the carburetors on and we had it running beautifully, and it was just pissing out of there. So everything had to come apart. We had to take the water pump off, we had to take all of this off just so we could replace that pipe, which was not the most exciting thing to do once you just got the car back together, but it was worth it in the end, because at the minute this car is performing beautifully. The issue we had is we got these carburetors as a reconditioned kit on eBay. Obviously we had a slight leak coming from this pipe here. Fortunately the company that supplied them was happy enough to help us out, and we sent them back and they fixed it for us, which was amazing. One thing I'm a little bit worried about with this setup, obviously we have now gone for a GT6 radiator, which I hadn't mentioned, but I'm sure you could tell that it's different. One thing I'm a little bit worried is, obviously we've got these flexi pipes. They do have metal inserts on the inside, but it does rub against the chassis down the bottom here, as you can see. I'm just keeping my eye on it at the minute, but I'm hoping there's two layers to this pipe. You've got the outer layer, which has all of the metal bits in it for the bending, and there's an inner layer, so I'm hoping that we're not going to have any issues with that. It's just going to go through the first layer, hit the metal, and then it should stop there. But we'll keep our eyes on it, and hopefully that'll be all okay. Then after that clip, which you've just seen, we pulled the vehicle onto the driveway, reversed it up. We literally drove it around the block. We didn't drive it far. I pulled the vehicle up, literally outside the front of the house here, reversed it onto the driveway, turned it off, and at the time we had the other radiator on it, but this pipe here had been blocked off with a bolt in the end of a pipe. And what happened at this point is the pressure in the system had built up so much, it pushed the bolt out the end, exploded out, hit the inside of the bonnet, and just caked everything in coolant. Absolutely everything in coolant. That is what has made me go for the GT6 radiator, because we all know, because it was produced on a vehicle and it works just like this, we know that it works. And there's no experimenting, it's just bolt on and off we go. How we did mount this radiator up is we just upturned the bolt onto the chassis. Obviously you can see I haven't painted it. We cleaned up the surface area, upturned the bolt on the chassis and just welded it straight on. And then we just put that down, and that was lovely, and that holds it into secure, not a problem. It's only got the one bolt in there and the radiator doesn't move 1 inch. One thing I am struggling with on this vehicle, I mean I've sorted it out now, but this cartridge filter is a pain in the arse. I can see why people put spin-on filter conversions on them. Still have my oil filter. Waiting for me gasket sealer to set, so I don't leak oil. Which probably will anyway, because it's fucking Triumph.
Yeah, buddy.
But at least it stops the rust.
Ain't no one gonna stop the rust.
Has been put a spin-on filter conversion on it anyway. We're going to run an oil cooler for it and run that around the front of the radiator. But yeah, pain in the arse. They leak. They're horrible to get on. The gaskets, I don't like them. I don't like them. We had leaks out the back here. We had leaks down the side here where the gasket had moved as we're putting it on. Pain in the arse. But it's all sorted out now, which is awesome. As you can see, we've got the hood pins in now as well, all nice and secure in the front. As you can see, we have modified the bumper. I think I showed you the bumper as we were painting it. This is on now, bolts in, bumper goes on, bonnet goes on, and obviously we have the standard light plugs just to plug the bonnet in as we put it on, which is very nice. Other than that, I would say this thing is, well, not completely finished. This thing will never be finished. We've got to sort out this this dent in the back here. As you can see, it's right there. That is horrible. That's where the old hardtop had managed to dislodge itself. It wasn't bolted in properly. It was a issue on my behalf. At this point, we are literally just tidying up the car, putting it back together, making it look nice. Obviously, I've got to put the radio wires, tuck them all up nice. I've got to bolt the radio in and clean that up. But yeah, it's looking really nice in here. I never show you how I finished off the seats, but I did. I will insert the clips of me doing the seats. I never finished it on camera though. I guess at this point I should probably insert some clips of me driving the thing and some noise from the exhaust. And I won't put any music over it this time, like I did last time. I annoyed some people.
I'm from the bottom, I come up to
Gus! I will shag you.